Yes, we're often asked how to renew visa. So even when we're first applying, of course, the question is down the road, how do I renew the visa? And in terms of timing, it depends a lot on how long the initial visa is granted. So an E2 visa, the maximum duration on an E2 visa is 5 years. So you want to start looking at renewing after sort of year 4, at least getting in touch to talk about how the business has been doing. But the renewal process is similar, if not identical, to the initial application process. So the investors would have to come back to the UK if they've applied initially from the UK or from whichever country they applied from. They would have to go through an interview process all over again. Now, the initial application, if the embassy requires that a company application first be submitted and be considered, the individual investors, the employees, can carry on working in the US as long as their status is still valid, while the embassy is reviewing that renewal application. And when the embassy is then ready to interview the individuals, then they would have to come back and go through the interview. So at the interview stage, they'd be looking at things like, have the projections been achieved? How many employees have been hired over the course of that 4+ years? So there's a lot that goes into the renewal process. It's certainly not just a formality. They really do look very closely at the parameters that were set in the initial application and the metrics that were set in that initial application to see if the company has achieved what they've set out to achieve. And so that's the renewal process. Now, someone could apply for an extension while in the US, but that does not grant them a new visa. So as soon as they departed the US, they would have to go through the same process that other renewal applicants would have to go through, which is submitting an application at the US Embassy abroad.